What's up, guys? Subzeric here, back for another VOD review. Today, I got something really, really special for you guys. This is just a broken comp. This is a comp that, in general, it's far too strong right now. I will say play this comp while you have the chance, because Riot literally just announced, like right before I made this video, they announced this, and I was like, I have to go. I have to make this video, that they're going to post, they're gonna update with a B patch later today, because I'm pretty sure this comp and a few other things is just too broken to play right now. Like, if you are not playing this comp, if you do not have this comp in mind when you're playing the game as like a potential option, you're simply trolling. So yeah, I'm really sort of like filling time until we get to our augment here, because this augment kicks off the comp. Interestingly enough, Solgasong gets offered Twin Terror here, which I was just talking about how broken it is, but he doesn't even end up picking it up, because this option that we get is even better than that. He also doesn't hold the luck, so we can't play towards Twin Terror, but it is Story Weaver Crest here. This allows us to play into Vertical Story Weaver very, very easily, and Vertical Story Weaver this patch is completely disgusting. So what Riot did this patch is they buffed blue Story Weaver a good, like a sizable amount. Prior to this patch, you know, when you played Story Weaver, you would basically always play vertical red Story Weaver for that extra attack speed, but now blue is really, really strong. You can start off with either the green Story Weaver item or the blue one. I personally love triple blue, but this game Solgasong, he doesn't have shred immediately, though he could even slam a static Shiv if he wanted to. But he doesn't really want to play for that. So he just opts to take the shred here, which, you know, it's fine to take the shred. I believe the stats do say that vertical Story Weaver with just blue is best. But we are going to go green here and then going to go blue from every opportunity onward. We are going to take green, blue, 7 Story Weaver, and you'll see. I mean, not only does vertical Story Weaver provide us with a pretty strong early game, we have the Sivir 2 here, which is fantastic. If we can pick up a Garen 2, then we will really be cruising. And, you know, getting an early 5-star Weaver is fantastic. But it also provides us with an insanely broken late game, as you will see. It's just, you guys are going to see. If you guys haven't seen this comp in action, it is hilarious to watch. When you're playing early game with this comp, you do want to play around Teemo, absolutely, just because he item holds the item so well. Like, it's actually really smart that Solgasong, he didn't actually slam a single item because he wants to item hold onto the Teemo. And team builder there, Solgasong puts in basically all the units that you're going to play. He puts in the Story Weaver units, and then there are other units that you can fit in this board. Soraka, Diana, Alawi, and Morgana. Those are the 4, and obviously you can't play all 4 of them, but those are 4 separate units that you can play. I really like the Morgana plus Alawi variation, but I've seen a lot of people play more like the Soraka Diana variation, and then like late game you can get in like Rakan is really, really nice to round out the board there. You can also play around like Lee Sin and stuff to get duelists in. Like there's a lot that you can do on this board. But yeah, I really like stabilizing around the Alawi, just because she's Warden and she's Arcanist, and then the Morgana fits in Ghostly and also Sage, which is just, I mean, the synergies are amazing. But yeah, we're just gonna play our strongest board here, get a Mumu in, who's a pretty solid Warden, make 20 next round, and we're just playing a pretty standard early game. Item holding a Mumu, Morello's fantastic, or a Mumu. Item holding this Teemo, and Morello's a fantastic Teemo item because he does damage over time. The ... is going to continuously apply the Morellos. We actually make our board slightly weaker here and selling the Amumu, speaking of which. But I mean, we kind of have to. We really need to make 20 gold here, fighting someone who's playing Vertical Ghostly. I'm interested actually how this player does this game, because I played Vertical Ghostly yesterday, and I mean, I played like the Reroll version, and it did not feel that strong after the nerfs. But I know the stats say it's not terrible. But I mean, sometimes stats are fake, is all I'll say. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to say we've won the game already because we took Star Weaver +1, because I mean, that's a bit much. But in this position, even though the spot doesn't actually look amazing, 83 HP, win-loss, I would say our average place from this spot is still like a 3 because of how strong this comp is. I just can't wait to get to later in the VOD, but it's important to see how you actually get to the board, what you play early. We get a mythic orb drop here, which ends up, I mean, honestly, we'd prefer like maybe a tome or something, but we end up getting, this is Orn item, I think. Yeah, I believe that's Orn item, which is like fine. But I swear, if someone in chat calls this a high roll, like it's not even, I mean, it's fine. Diamond Hands for extra frontline seems solid because our frontline's pretty garbage right now. Yeah, Diamond Hands Gargoyle, that's going to go on Galio later. Like these are good tank items for sure. It'll generate us some extra econ, but because we got a mythic orb drop, that means everyone else got a mythic orb drop. That's how drops work nowadays. So, you know, it's not like we're up this diamond hands, everybody else has like a bunch of gold or, you know, like duplicators or like they can get the thing that turns one of their items into a radiant item. There's a lot here. I love Combat Caster unconditionally. This augment I think is so good, just in general. So I would pretty much always pick this up here. And ooh, we pick up the Zoe. We also already have this the Zyra as well. So we're really just in the waiting room for our Kayle, basically. And then we can play 7, but you know, we'll see. Still, item only Aatrox. Solgasong does the smart thing here that, you know, many players do, which is I'm playing, you know, the Sivir on my board the entire game. I don't want to item hold Sivir. I'm playing, you know, this Riven on my board the entire game. I don't want to item hold Riven. I want to item hold the units that I'm going to be able to sell. So the Teemo is going to come out later, and the Aatrox is going to come out later. So item hold those guys, and then we can easily move items to Galio and to whoever AP carry is, whether that's Zoe, or it can be Morgana, or it can be, you know, anyone really. We actually get punished a little bit here by slamming a random component by this encounter, because now we have to, like, we can't get a third item onto Teemo. We could have, like, snipers Teemo. Not the end of the world, but a little bit sad. Like, this encounter's kind of bad for us, because we don't actually have good units to itemize here, but, you know, it's not the end of the world. And the other thing to note, of course, is that he did go blue Kayle on his second pick. You basically always go blue Kayle into blue Kayle nowadays. He farmed a few gold, actually. This ended up being pretty high roll. The Collector, I think Collector farmed us 3 gold there. But yeah, you always go blue Kayle. Like I said, I love blue but green blue is still acceptable. Blue just gives you even more AP and just like damage to work with. We'd love a Galio on Carousel, but it does not exist. I'm curious what he wants out of this bow here. He's just gonna go for sword for damage item. Yeah, I guess he doesn't really care too much for static shiv, because he's, or it could also be Shojin. Curious to see what he ends up. Maybe it is Shojin. I'm interested to see what he goes for here, because yeah, I like building towards Zoe in this comp, and yeah, looks like it's just gonna be Shojin, Morello, Zoe, I would think. Zoe's a fantastic carry when you play this comp, and she really likes Morellos. I like Shojin. I feel like Shojin Morellos +1 is her BIS. It might even be like Shojin Morello Guard Breaker, because of the way the unit works, where she's bouncing and hitting so many different units. I could actually like see that being her BIS, but I do think Shojin Morello is definitely the first 2, and then third one, you know, it could be Death Cab, it could be, I mean, JG if you have to, a lot of stuff it could be. Pick up, okay, so here's the question, does he opt to actually hold Morgana here? Looks like no, he isn't even interested in the Morgana, so yeah, this means he's playing more towards the version where you play around Soraka plus Diana. Like I said, I actually really like the Morgana version, but I mean, both are obviously very strong, and I think the Soraka Diana version is a bit more common. I think more people are playing towards that for whatever reason. It's just the one people see. I mean, it allows you to roll for like Raka 3, but I mean, you actually might have items to itemize Soraka 3 just because this comp is not that item hungry. You get your Zoe items, you get your Galio items, and then where do the rest of your items go? I mean, we'll find out. But yeah, we are like not that rich. I think like on balance here, the spot doesn't look that good if this comp was not as good as it was. But the thing is, the second that we hit 7 Storeweaver, we're going to hit an insane spike. It's actually like disgusting how big of a spike it is. We are going to level here. We naturaled the Zoe too, actually, and an extra Zoe. So I mean, the only reason we would need to roll here in this position is that our frontline is a pile of garbage, which is very true. Interesting also that he's not holding the Diana. He does get the Zoe too in here. Yeah, we're always going to make GS, so he doesn't hold Diana. I'm curious to see what version he actually ends up playing here, because he didn't want Morg. He's now holding the Alawi, which I like as a unit. I mean, maybe he goes for Aatrox 3, but I mean, we're already fast 7, so that seems like a little bit dubious to me. And yeah, he's not gonna look for that. Augment-wise here, I mean, you can't take left or right here, so yeah, you kind of have to take middle here. All our options are pretty bad. Can't really play Lucky Ricochet with these items. So yeah, he's just gonna continue to roll here. I mean, I don't completely dislike it. It does allow us to pick up a lot of Zoes, like we already have 6 at this point, and perhaps some upgrades. I was actually playing the Nico version, where you're playing Nico here for Heavenly and Arcanist, as opposed to the Diana, which is just Sage. I've seen a lot of people talk about the Diana, but I mean, I like Nico. I like Nico on this board a lot. I guess you can go Nico into Diana on potentially, I don't know, level. I mean, you're not playing it on level 9. I think this board is still kind of being figured out, as evidenced by the fact that, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we can include here. But the thing that is definitely known is that this comp's kind of broken. But yeah, we will see once we actually get to 7 story. Yeah, so it looks kind of this is kind of an awkward spot, because we're kind of forced to roll down a little bit because our board's nothing's 2-starred. Well, not a lot of stuff is 2-starred. Now we finally have enough upgrades that I'm pretty happy about kind of sitting on this board, but at this point we're a little bit broke. And we do still want to find Zoe 3. That's the sort of great tension on this board, is like going 8 for better Galio odds or rolling at 7 for Zoe 3. With 6 Zoes, it's a little bit tough of a call here. We'll probably econ up the rest of the stage and then either look for Zoe 3 or level, depending on how many we natural over the rest of the stage. Support item on Carousel, we're 3rd round of picks. We're super clumped up randomly here, but I wouldn't hate something like a Locket just to add, or even like a Gargoyles to add some more frontline to our board. Yeah, I like, or I don't know why I said Gargoyle, but Randuins. I like Randuins here. You can just apply it to your frontline, and it's pretty solid. You don't really need more damage on this board, especially once you get to the Kayle. Oh, Randuins is actually probably fantastic because you can, well, you'll see, but you can apply it to the Kayle, kind of. But yeah, we pick up another Zoe, which means we are very, very likely going to go for Zoe 3. It's interesting, actually, he decides to apply this to the entire backline, get really good Comet Caster value, really good value on the extra HP we're getting off Martyr, and then we still get to sort of like solo frontline this Gargoyle and get really good Gargoyle value. I kind of like it a lot. I could certainly see it. And this Lysandra does a lot of work, but still not enough to get through this Zoe. And yeah, I mean, with 2 Zoes off, we are definitely going to look for Zoe 3 in this setup. I don't imagine that we're playing okay, so we are going to play Alawi here just for the 3. Okay, yeah, and now we're just going to play it, get the Nico out. We're going to lose Heavenly in this setup, which is the only kind of sad part. But we do get in, I mean, a slightly better unit in the Alawi. Yeah, it's interesting that we decided to play this version, because, I mean, at this point, I'd really love, like, I'm talking about, like, Morgana on this board. Chef's kiss, she goes crazy. But yeah, I mean, maybe Solo Gasong it doesn't completely have in his mind an idea of how to play the board. There's definitely like a lot of stuff we're looking at. And yeah, I mean, this is the comp that I think it was fine last patch, but this patch, it goes crazy. And I've been building up to it. I really want Solo Gasong to hit the 7 Story Weaver here, please, man. We still have to roll for the Zoe. I mean, best case scenario, we find Galio on 7 like a beast, but who knows if that'll happen. Maybe. I'm hoping. Here's hoping. He is just going to go 8, actually, to look for the Galio and just find the Zoe on 8. Gives us higher odds of hitting Galio. The only downside is we hurt our ability to find Zoe here. Gonna find a random Tom Kench too. There's Zoe, double. Wow. Okay, that shot was beautiful. Solo Gasong's so shocked by it that he actually forgets to put Galio on the board and makes Crown Guard IE. The IE is, of course, going to be for the Irelia later, and then the Crown Guard, I guess, is going to be our 3rd Galio item. I mean, solid items. Just means we're going to have to sell some stuff. But yeah, I think Solo Gasong was so shocked by how good his chops were there that he got dizzy and didn't know how to put his board in. But here we go. Triple blue on our Kayle, and we get the Galio in here. And yeah, I mean, we're playing 3 Arcanist on this board, so I'm not like the biggest fan of everything that we're doing here, but I guess the kind of hard part is it's a little bit annoying to sell this Alawi. And like also it's kind of annoying, like where do we put this IE? But look at that Kayle damage, by the way. I mean, that double cast there, I mean, let's look at it after the fight there. 7.3k, and most of that was in an instant, man. This Kayle unit with triple blue just does way too much damage. 8 for reroll is gonna allow us to actually find some kind of replacement for this Alawi potentially. Ideally, we pick up like a Galio too here, and then we can think about moving items. We get the Soraka in, which is really nice to get Altruist onto our entire board. It's almost like, I mean, there's no such thing as too much armor to Mar, but it's something. But yeah, it's interesting. Like, I personally here like the Morgana better than Altruist. You get Ghostly and you get Sage for your entire board. And the other thing that you can see, the way that Solo Gasong is positioning, is he's moving Kayle up a little bit. He has Kayle 3rd row here. I've seen 2nd row Kayle even. I'm curious if Solo is going to do it this game. But you don't have to just backline the Kayle. You can move the Kayle up because her spell does pierce. It's like 4 rows, I think. Oh my god. Story Weaver spat off Carousel would be fantastic. That's an extra Story Weaver emblem. There's also an Irelia, which is pretty cool. I'd probably take the Story Weaver spat because it's highest cap. Allows us to cut some of these units that we don't care about so much, like the Garen. And eventually we're going to have to cut another one. It's like double Story Weaver spat's kind of a lot. But yeah, we can play this Nico on the board potentially. Seems completely fine. And at this point, you could think about getting out of the Alawi. I think that's that's definitely your greatest cap, is get out of the Alawi, play towards like Dragon Lords and stuff. But yeah, the only downside, 3rd row Kayle here, is that she can't, oh my god, actually, I think she did. Yeah, I think she can snipe backline there, because that guy's backline disappeared in an instant. So yeah, I guess this is today I learned. I guess 3rd row Kayle can snipe backline. as well, depending on positioning. But I mean, this unit, as you saw there, their backline was alive, and then we looked at Kayle casts, and then their backline was gone. And if you get a big AoE, like this Kayle unit is just, yeah. I mean, let's just watch it. Let's just watch how the fights run here. Our positioning's not amazing here. There's not too much stuff that we can, like, we're gonna snipe the entire front line here, waiting on that Kayle cast, boom. We one-shot the Lissandra, but it's a little bit sad that you can't actually snipe any backline here. I think second row could snipe through frontline, but yeah, putting it this far back, it's not actually gonna snipe through frontline. I want to see Sologasong put it in the front, but I guess we'll see. Yeah, I mean, Zyra Khan is a way better unit on this board. The only downside is we have to lose our huge tank. I think we'll actually be okay with this setup, but we'll see what Solo wants to end up doing. You can also look at going 9 here, which level 9 would ideally be Diana. We do have this Janna. Ooh, Lee Sin is also fantastic, especially once we hit the Irelia for our board here. He's also got Lissandra as an idea, who tends to be a really, really nice unit to get in late game. But yeah, looking at just getting the... he actually put the Janna in here over the Diana, which I think I would just prefer the Diana, right? Because you get Sage, which is like a really nice random synergy onto the board. Ooh, this is a nice board. The Kayle can cast and just hit basically everyone. This cast here, boom, deletes the Kayn. It's just like if Kayn cannot get, or the Yone, if, well, it's actually Kayn and Yone. But if either of them don't just one-shot the Kayle, which is never going to happen with these augments, then you're hard chilling. I do think these type of augments are really, really nice in this comp. Combat Caster, the Martyr as well. Like augments that can keep Kayle safe, I think are really, really nice, because you often want to put her up. And oh, okay, finally, second row Kayle. Let's see. She'll be able to snipe middle here. She'll be able to snipe the Ashe. So see, look at that cast. Ashe almost gets one shot, but I think she got... maybe she got the damage reduction, but boom, another Kayle cast. Okay, finally, we're seeing the second row Kayle shenanigans, and boom, look at that, 11,000 damage dealt. I mean, it's just disgusting, and we got one more fight to go. But I mean, look at our board, man. We're Galio 1. At least we hit the Zoe 3, or else like this game would look really, really fraudulent. But like, it's so insane how strong this board is relative to like how strong it should be, right? Like, we're fighting this board here, there's not a chance. I mean, sadly, we don't get to see more Kayle sniping, but boom, she's going to snipe, one-shot the entire clump in the middle there, cast again, one-shot their one-shot their carry, and then one more cast to finish the fight off, and it's going to be a dub for Sologasong. So, like I said, play this comp while you guys get the chance. It is absolutely broken. Blue Kayle, I think, is best, but green is fine as well. You can play for Zoe 3, you can push like Fast 8, play for Irelia. It's insane. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe. Check out my Twitch channel by the links down below. Thanks for watching.